Hello, family members. Sorry about the lack of my normal tripod. Um, might be a little bit shaky, but I can't find my tripod, and I'm so mad about this. I got to talk about it right away. And so we'll have to make do. What the heck is wrong with the author of Harry Potter? Like, seriously, what is wrong with her? Okay. A little backstory here. I grew up in West Virginia, but my family's from Central Florida. Always been very familiar with the Orlando area. Okay? Well, when I moved down here, to live as an adult, I started going to the men's soccer team games pretty frequently because I had a friend who had season tickets. And so I became a big fan of them. And I also became a big fan of the Pride and even went and saw them with a different friend who had season tickets. And, been following them. Well, this year I found an app where I could watch all the games for free on my TV, on my smart TV. So I've been watching this season, the Orlando Pride, the women's soccer team here. And they have been on the best season. I mean, they only lost 2 games all season. They had like a 24 game unbeaten streak or something ridiculous. Insane stats, records. Coach of the year, I think goalkeeper of the year, defender of the year. I mean, like, they have had a heck of a year, okay? And, most people probably have no idea, even here in Orlando, because it's women's professional soccer and the fan base is regrettably quite small. But, I've been enjoying it, and since my dad got back down here, we've been watching the games together, which has mostly been the playoff games, which, of course, my team won each and every playoff game they were in because they're now the double champions, the Shield winners and the tournament champions. It's just like this amazing, incredible accomplishment. And after the semifinal, my dad had watched with me, and our star player Marta had made this amazing goal. It was just the most incredible thing. And Dad's like, oh, that's got to be on the top 10 plays on ESPN. Got to be on the top 10 plays. Now, if you haven't watched ESPN in a while, they've actually gotten a lot better about including some non-traditional sport types and women's sports and whatnot. But the game happened on a Sunday and it's football season. Like every single minute of the top 10 was about NFL because ESPN is like obsessed with the NFL. Like, I mean, I imagine that's where they make most of their money, probably. So, Dad was somewhat aghast by that. And then after we won, he was expecting there would be something on sports media about there was nothing at all. And so we're like, glorying in this wonderful season that we've had and really just so happy and all of this stuff. And, we got to experience it sort of on our own because the sports media just isn't there yet, right? Well, in the middle of all this, like, glorying in wonderfulness, one of our other star players, Banda, gets the award for footballer of the year, female footballer of the year from the BBC. And this becomes an occasion for J.K. Rowling to go on X and say that naming Barbara Banda, who is undoubtedly the female footballer of the year. I mean, she did insanely well for her club and her country. Thank you very much. She earned that accolade, saying that giving her that accolade was basically tantamount to going and spitting in the face of every single person who, in Britain, I guess, who pays television taxes for the BBC or whatever. And I'm just like, what the heck? And it just makes me so mad because Barbara Banda is such a sweet young lady. She really is. Like, if you listen to her talk, she's so sweet and humble, and she's so overwhelmingly talented. And she's a beautiful woman. Yes, her features are somewhat angular, and she's built like a professional athlete, right? But to say that a cis woman doesn't deserve an accolade she deserves because you think maybe she could possibly be trans is the weirdest thing in the world to me. Like, this is transphobia that's gone so far that it's actually making life horrible for cis women. If you're not, like, stereotypically feminine, if you're not Alex Morgan, if you're not a beautiful white girl playing soccer, then you must be a man. And I'm just so mad about that because Barbara doesn't deserve this. Barbara doesn't deserve to get wrapped up in your BS, in your inability to understand the difference between a cis person and a trans person, and why that's really not that big of a deal in sports. Really, it's not. Ah, I'm so upset that she is going to keep making billions and billions of dollars. People are going to go out and keep supporting her. Every time you buy anything Harry Potter related, she takes that as you endorsing her position on this transphobic bigotry. You are enabling her to continue her transphobic crusade that she's on, that even if you don't give a shit about trans people, which I don't know why that would be the case, but even if you don't, look right here. This is hurting cis women too. Amani Khalif this summer, her wonderful Olympic run, her great story, her moment of glory, the thing that she worked for so hard was tainted. She had to divide her energy between the time that she got to spend enjoying the moment she earned after going through so much to get there, all these odds to get there. And with Barbara, it's no different. Going against so many odds to get where they get, and they finally climb to the top of the heights of glory, only to have this freaking stupid billionaire white lady, old crazy hag out there trying. No, I'm sorry. That was really wrong of me to say. I apologize for that ableist language. She is not crazy. She's just a bigot. She's an unapologetic bigot. And trying to equate that to mental illness is really insulting to the mentally ill. So I apologize for that. That's not fair. But yeah, I was kind of getting off on a tangent anyway because it just makes me so mad. It does. Like, that woman can just fire off a tweet that takes her maybe like 4 seconds. She didn't probably even read what it is that she's commenting on. She's just commenting on the comment on the article and the Twitter thing. And she can upend a person's life and cause all this by signal boosting, paranoid conspiracy theories about female athletes or whoever else she decides to target. And the fact is, Barbara Banda, as amazing as she is, and how much glory and fame she gets, it'll never hold a candle to what J.K. Rowling has. J.K. Rowling can easily turn so many people against Barbara, but Barbara doesn't have the ability to stand up for herself in the same way that J.K. has the way to cast her down. And it's not like we haven't seen her do that to small-time, personalities, creators, whatever. I mean, causing the dog pile on the YouTuber Jessie Gender was just so inappropriate. Like, Jessie Gender is basically an amateur filmmaker, barely making it by being on YouTube and Patreon and Nebula, and she is a billionaire who's friends with the aristocracy and the high government officials in her country. Like, she has insane amounts of power and influence and huge online presence. And she can take that power and bring it to bear on anyone she wants, no matter how vulnerable they are or not. And she does so with impunity. I'm just so desperately sad to think that maybe Barbara is even thinking about this for a moment. I hope she is not. I hope this is not something that's even on her radar. But I imagine it is. I don't know how you have someone like her say something that nasty and it not get back to you one way or the other. I mean, the press is going to ask her, She can't avoid it, I'm sure. The team deserves better than this. Their great achievement basically ignored, and then the only thing that really is going to give them any sort of signal boost at this point is backlash to backlash, maybe, Like, it's hard enough for cis women athletes, especially cis women athletes who aren't pretty feminine, frilly types. I'm glad that there is room for pretty feminine, frilly type girls in professional sports. You see it in soccer and you see it in a lot of other places. It's great. That should be. And I'm glad that it seems like they have no problem, the feminine, frilly girls, being on a team with women of every other type you can imagine, Women who are not, pretty petite little feminine creatures are always going to have to fight a little bit harder to get anywhere. Because people are just going to want to ignore them. Us, even, in a way, Anyone who doesn't look like, they could be on a TV show or something, Pretty much going to have some people just kind of overlook them, dismiss them, Especially if there's other people that they could look at instead, right? And it frustrates me that this woman has so much power and uses it so recklessly. There's no thought behind it. What benefit is there to attacking a cis woman, for winning an award? Like, she is cis. She's not fake trans, this is conspiracy theory nonsense. J.K. Rowling is openly espousing and progenerating and, reiterating conspiracy theories openly. And people are still just buying her stuff like it's nothing. I saw a commercial the other day for all this, like, Harry Potter stuff at Universal Orlando. Like, I don't know. I don't think I ever want to go there again. Like, I just don't. I don't want to see all that stuff that reminds me of that woman. And I don't want to think that there's even indirectly any bit of money going from me to her, showing any sort of support for any of her properties. Because I know what she thinks that means. I'm never going to want to tell her that. I'm never going to want to tell her, yes, I'm okay with what you're doing. I support you. Look at what she's doing. Look at who she's hurting. I don't get it. I just don't get it, you know? I don't understand people that I know that probably think of themselves as allies and, open to queer people, openly being Harry Potter fans and fanatics and stuff. Like, I get it. I loved that series. But you know what? I didn't love it more than I loved my trans friends. I don't love it more than I want to support Banda. I don't love it more than I want to support Amani Khalif, and I never even heard of her before this year. But you know what? Her glory is more important to me than Harry Potter, because you know what? There are other stories. J.K. Rowling is not the only storyteller in the world. There are other fan communities. There are other, fan communities that have things like different houses you can sort yourself into, or magic schools, or, anything that you like about Harry Potter is probably derivative of something better that came before it, or has been perfected by some other type of media, fan fiction, or something that's come after it, okay? Like, you don't need Harry Potter, but you need to stop supporting that woman, because she is going to hurt whoever she wants. She has so much power to harm and no discretion in how she uses it. And there's no way to stop her as long as people keep giving her money, keep supporting her, keep giving her influence. She cannot be stopped by any other method, because she's gone too far down the bigotry whirlpool, and we cannot save her now. I'm sorry. And we can't save her properties anymore. Harry Potter or anything else that she's made, although anything else that she's made is not really that important culturally, right? So, please, 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 at least consider why it is that you can't give that up if you can't give it up. And understand what you're doing by continuing to support. I don't hold against people if they want to keep the books and movies and things they already have that have sentimental meaning to them, I haven't, but other people who want to do that, that's perfectly understandable to me. Anything new? Anything like the parks or games? I don't know. I couldn't do it. Not after seeing the people that she hurts. Trans people, cis people, it doesn't matter. If she decides that she's coming after you, she'll come after you. You're not safe from bigots like her just because you're not what she's espousing bigotry for right now. Bigotry snowballs, and also bigotry has plenty of bystanders who get mowed down in the process, okay? Like, masculine appearing cis women are far more likely to be harmed by bathroom bans or talk about bathroom bans than femme-presenting trans women. And knowing that's the case, why in the world would somebody want to advocate for that? Well, because they don't care who they hurt. Because they aren't willing to take the time to really see what the consequences of their actions are. Because they have enough money and influence, they can do what they want, and nobody can really push back. And anyone who tries to push back, she can just replace them. You know, you can always find someone else to take their place when you're rich or influential enough, okay? So, I'm so sorry, Barbara. I'm so sorry. This is your moment for glory. And you really earned it, girl. And I think you're gorgeous. I don't think that there's any reason why anyone should doubt your femininity. And I'm sorry you got stuck up in this mess, you know? It wouldn't be less tragic if Barbara was trans, to be fair. But it's still very tragic to me. It just goes to show that she does not care. That this is not about trans people. It's about feeling superior, I think, maybe. I don't know. What are the reasons why people are bigots, you know? Do they get the drunk on powers thing? I don't know. Anyway, next year, get the NWSL app on your smart TV and watch some soccer games because the teams are great. It's so much fun. They don't play that often. It's not like baseball. It's like once a week, okay? Once a week you get to watch a fun game. And, these teams, they deserve our support. They've had to work real hard to get where they are. And the more of us that can give them our time and attention, and even more, our revenue, going to games, buying merch, whatever, that's so much more important, you know? Like, your favorite sports team that you watch, whatever it is, probably has so many more times fans. And so your importance to that team is a much smaller ratio than it would be for any of the women's soccer teams, even the ones that have more fans than Orlando, unfortunately. We're a little bit behind on that, but you know what? Maybe we'll get better now. Hopefully, we'll get better now. My biggest and greatest congratulations to Barbara Banda on BBC Female Footballer of the Year, and your run with the Pride and how you did with the Zambian national team. Same to Marta and Adriana and Angelina and Allie Watt and McCutcheon, Sam's, Anna Morehouse, our goalie. Oh, all of the team, Carson Pickett. Like, I can't think of everybody right now, and I hate it. Carrie Abello. Every time I think of somebody, I'm like, just say it. But, I love that team. They're so good. Lawrence, who's retiring, I believe. Yeah, even. Go girls. You did great. I'm so proud to be an Orlando Pride fan and a Barbara Banda fan. And boy, that feels a lot better than it would feel to do any sort of thing to support that woman. All right, family members, I got to leave you with this big Orlando poster that I got, and with the Marta up here in the corner, if you can see it. But take care of yourselves. I have another video coming up soon that is a response to a comment that was left on my Manosphere video, and it should be a good one. But I haven't had the time to really put it together yet, so bear with me. You'll see it soon. Take care. Love you. Bye.